The restaurant was bustling with the usual lunchtime chatter when something extraordinary caught everyone's attention. A little girl, no more than 6, sat quietly at her family's table, her eyes bright and curious. When the waitress brought their food, the girl's tiny hands moved gracefully, signing a simple thank you. The gesture was so pure, so heartfelt, that it made the waitress pause for a moment, a smile spreading across her face. But the moment didn't end there. From a nearby table, a man in a sharp suit had been observing. He was no ordinary diner, he was a CEO, known for his sharp business instincts and keen eye for talent. He leaned forward, intrigued, and asked in a gentle voice, "Where did you learn that?" The little girl looked up, her hands still mid, and something about her confidence and warmth made him lean in closer. In that instant, a quiet connection formed between strangers, one that would ripple far beyond the walls of the restaurant. But how did this little girl learn such kindness and grace at such a young age? And what would the CEO do next? Witnessing this remarkable moment firsthand, what happened next left everyone in the restaurant holding their breath. The little girl's mother smiled softly, a hint of pride and shyness in her eyes. She explained that her daughter had been born deaf, and that learning sign language had opened a whole new world for her. The CEO's interest deepened. There was something about the girl's expression, her quiet confidence, that suggested more than just basic manners. It was as if she had a wisdom beyond her years, a spark that caught everyone off guard. The waitress, still touched by the girl's gratitude, glanced over at the CEO, unsure if she should say anything. He was clearly fascinated, leaning slightly forward, studying the girl as if he could uncover a secret hidden in her gestures. Around them, the restaurant buzzed on, but a small circle of attention had formed, a quiet bubble of curiosity and anticipation. The CEO's mind raced with questions. Did she learn sign language from her parents, a school, or somewhere unexpected? And how could someone so young carry herself with such poise and kindness in a world that often overlooks the quiet ones? He wanted to know more, to understand the story behind those tiny, precise movements. But as he opened his mouth to ask, the little girl's eyes met his, and for a fleeting second, the answer seemed just out of reach. The CEO couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this little girl than met the eye. He watched as she picked up her fork with careful precision, signing thank you again when her mother helped her cut a piece of food. There was an elegance to her movements, a confidence that didn't seem ordinary for someone her age. His curiosity was no longer casual, it was personal. Meanwhile, the waitress replayed the moment in her mind. She had served hundreds of customers, but rarely had she witnessed such a sincere display of gratitude. Something about the girl's sign language made the room feel smaller, more intimate, and she wondered silently who had taught her such thoughtful manners. Across the table, the mother noticed the CEO's gaze and felt a flicker of caution. She had always been protective, knowing the world often misunderstood children like hers. But at the same time, she saw an opportunity, a chance for her daughter to be recognized for more than just her hearing. Yet something about the intensity in the CEO's eyes made her uneasy. The tension grew as the CEO leaned forward again, silently trying to piece together the story behind the girl's remarkable composure. Was it family guidance, a teacher, or something extraordinary? No one knew yet, and the mystery lingered in the air, thick with anticipation. The restaurant seemed to quiet around their little corner, as if the world itself was holding its breath. The CEO's curiosity had grown into a deep fascination. Every small movement of the girl, her precise signs, the way she tilted her head when she smiled, felt like a clue to something extraordinary. He couldn't stop thinking about her, the question on his lips heavier with every passing second. The waitress, feeling a mix of awe and nervousness, kept glancing toward the girl, wondering if she should say something more. She had never been part of a moment so charged, so quietly intense, and yet she felt protective of the child. Unsure what the CEO intended, the mother's heart raced. She sensed that the stranger in the suit was not just interested in manners or polite gestures. He seemed to see something deeper. She had always wanted her daughter to be appreciated for her intelligence, her heart, and her determination. But exposing her to a powerful stranger carried risks she couldn't ignore. The CEO finally leaned in closer, his voice low but urgent. "I have to ask, how did you learn to do that?" The girl paused, her tiny hands hovering in the air, her eyes meeting his with an unspoken challenge. In that suspended moment, the answer felt just out of reach, and everyone in the small bubble of attention sensed the tension spike. Something remarkable was about to unfold, but no one knew exactly what it would be. The little girl's hands froze, mid-sign, and for a moment the restaurant seemed to shrink around them. Then, unexpectedly, she pointed toward a corner of the room where another child sat quietly, drawing in a notebook. The CEO followed her gaze and froze. The child in the corner wasn't just any other kid. He was signing the same intricate gestures the little girl had just used, only faster, almost as if he were teaching himself. The waitress blinked, unsure if she had seen correctly. Something about this second child's skill was uncanny, far beyond what she had thought possible for someone so young. Her curiosity mixed with unease, sensing that there was more to this story than a simple act of gratitude. The mother's expression shifted, a flicker of concern crossing her face. She had never told anyone about the boy in the corner. He wasn't a relative, but someone connected to the girl in a way that only she truly understood. The CEO's interest intensified, his mind racing. How were these two children connected, and why had he never heard of such advanced sign language skills at such a young age? The tension thickened, the stakes suddenly higher. What seemed like a simple moment of kindness had become a puzzle of unexpected complexity, and everyone in the restaurant felt that something remarkably and possibly life-changing was about to be revealed. The CEO's eyes widened as realization hit him. The little girl's mother stepped closer, her voice calm but firm. "He's my niece," she explained, pointing to the boy in the corner. "She's been teaching him sign language ever since he lost his hearing last year. He's shy and rarely shows it in public, but she wanted him to experience something special today." The CEO knelt slightly, trying to meet the children at their level. The little girl smiled and signed hello to him, while the boy hesitated, then mirrored her movements with a timid, yet precise, "Thank you." The connection between them was immediate, a silent bond forged through patience, love, and determination. The waitress wiped away a tear, overwhelmed by the scene unfolding before her. It wasn't just a simple act of gratitude anymore, it was a display of courage, resilience, and extraordinary heart. Just as the CEO reached out to praise the children, the little girl's mother revealed another surprise. "She's been creating her own alphabet of signs," she said quietly, "so he and others like him can communicate even more easily than before." The CEO's admiration turned into amazement. What had started as a small moment of politeness had blossomed into a revelation of innovation, kindness, and inspiration that none of them would ever forget. The restaurant buzzed back to life, but the memory of that quiet, powerful connection lingered, leaving everyone wondering what these two remarkable children might achieve next. As the children returned to their meals, the CEO stayed for a moment longer, quietly reflecting on what he had just witnessed. He realized that the little girl's kindness and ingenuity weren't just heartwarming, they were a lesson in empathy, patience, and the power of teaching others. The boy in the corner, now more confident, began signing small phrases to his aunt, and she responded with gentle encouragement, showing the depth of their bond. The waitress, who had been part of the story from the very beginning, felt a renewed sense of purpose. She understood that even the smallest gestures, a smile, a thank you, a patient hand guiding someone, could ripple outward in ways that changed lives. She glanced at the CEO, who now wore a look of quiet admiration, clearly moved by the children's courage and creativity. Before leaving, the CEO thanked the mother and the children, promising to support their efforts in any way he could. As he walked out, he felt a spark of hope, inspired by how a simple act of gratitude had grown into something far bigger than anyone could have imagined. The little girl's sign language, her patience, and her heart had left an unforgettable mark on everyone present, reminding us all that kindness, teaching, and innovation can begin in the most unexpected places. The story ended, but its impact lingered, echoing long after the restaurant doors closed.